Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Greater Freedom podcast with me, your host, Nicola. I'm joined by a gorgeous guest today, Sally, who I kind of met, in quote unquote, a couple of months back. Sally actually came in and did an incredible guest expert session within my mini mind. We did an amazing tapping round focused on confidence, self-belief. So I had to bring Sally back and have a longer conversation with her on the podcast. So Sally, welcome. Thank you so much for coming. Please introduce yourself and share that with the listeners a little bit more about what it is that you do.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. First off, it's so good to be here and have this conversation with you. And yeah, to invite me onto your mini mind as well. That was such a powerful session. What I do, I work with women and I'm a somatic embodiment movement coach. And I also combine that with spirituality, life coaching, and I incorporate all of the tools that I'm trained in. So somatic movement education, EFT tapping. I'm registered with all the EFT International Organization. I do sister circles, retreats. I do lots of other things as well, but you'll get a general feel for what I'm about and who I am, I guess, through the podcast.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing. I feel like just by you sort of telling all of that, I'm like, you must be a very busy woman, because that is a lot.
Yeah. And throw 3 kids in the mix as well.
Oh my gosh, superwoman.
Yeah.
Amazing. I'd love to kind of go into a little bit more detail on to some of those specifically. The first question, mainly for my own knowledge and clarity, but also people listening, the somatic work and kind of embodiment work, could you give a little bit more detail, I guess, what that actually entails and how you got into that?
Yeah. So I, first of all, got into it. I went to uni to do dance teaching and performance. Now, that was a big leap into the unknown because at the time I was going to go and follow a career doing art. And then all of a sudden I got this massive wave, like, when you get an intuitive hit and you either you ignore it or you follow it for some unknown reason. Well, I got one of those when I finished college. And 2 weeks before university started, I was like, I don't know what to do. And my mum said, what do you enjoy doing? Do something that you love doing. And I was like, I love dancing, but I can't see myself dancing on the West End. That's not something that I know would really light me up. And I just couldn't see what career I would go into. But anyway, besides all that, even though I couldn't logically figure out why, I was like, I love dancing. I'm just going to go and dance for 3 years. And I absolutely loved it. I did the course. It was choreography, performance, education. So a lot to do with Carl Jung and the psychology behind movement. So we stepped into the dance movement therapy space.
Wow.
Both of my teachers, they were somatic movement practitioners. So we got introduced to this module of somatics. And I fell in love with it. And it's interesting, really, because back in the day, all the other girls who were on the course, they hated it because instead of looking at the mirror and how you view yourself from an outside perspective and like how high I can kick my leg or how am I holding my body, it was close your eyes. We often had to wear, eye masks, and things like that, which really takes you into your body rather than the outside perspective. So it was all about feeling from within and feeling from a place that felt good in your body, or moving into those places that didn't feel so good, but allowing your body to move through it. And with all this, you're allowed to just be still. You're allowed to lie on the floor. You're allowed to do whatever you felt like you needed to do in that space. And through that, we incorporated art. We incorporated a bit of witness and mover relationship where you'd incorporate speaking, but it was mostly from this embodied felt sense. So you'd be describing how you felt and how it felt in your body. So I started off small and in a neat ball on the floor, and then I gradually uncurled and opened my arms. And even just with those explanations, you start making the interpretations of what that may mean in your life. But when we were split the word somatics into soma, is a Greek word, and it comes from the perception of I. So instead of looking at yourself from the outside in, is this felt sense from within and moving from that. And then I went to do my master's in somatic movement education, connections to the living body. But through all of this time, I started an eating disorder when I was in, I think, my first or second year of uni. Started going to a therapist, and that was amazing. But the true healing to the core of where it came from was when I did my full intense year of doing somatic work. Really working with my body from the inside out and not getting too caught up in my mind. All the I feel really strongly about the the CBT and the counseling and the psychology behind things, but I'm so passionate about really connecting your mind, body and soul through movement, because it's our body that stores everything that we have been through. It's our body, and sometimes our mind hasn't caught up yet, because maybe it's not safe for our conscious to understand what happened to us or what we went through, but our body holds it. So through movement, when I would be releasing these tears or these anger movements or whatever it was that I was feeling, even elation and pure joy, tears of happiness, tears of sadness, all of it, my body was ready to release something in that moment. And what's beautiful is that we don't always have to consciously understand what it is that your body is releasing. You just feel better. You realize that your body was safe to release that and thanking it. And there may be more insight that comes from that when you really start to work into it. But it's just allowing whatever is to unfold and move through you and out of you. And that's why I became so passionate about it, because it was such a pivotal moment in my own healing journey.
Wow, that just sounds incredible, like amazing in terms of a point of liberation and freedom to get so comfortable with your body and yourself that you can just release, dance, move in a way that is needed to process any blocked energy, any emotions, anything that's maybe causing misalignment. And I know, like, one of the things that came to mind when you were describing that, when there was sort of tears of elation or joy or sadness, is so often, and this is a generalization, but I think it's sort of a correct generalization, that we're told when we're younger, don't cry, and that said, and it comes from a good place, I'm sure, from the parent, but actually that's then a norm or a condition that we grow up with, that it's bad to cry, kind of equivalent. So we suppress the emotion, we keep it in. So speaking on my own perspective, my own experience, I can totally see the benefits and the beauty of somatic work and dance and movement. But because I've come from a family, a society, a culture where that's suppressed, the thought of me going to an ecstatic dance class fills me with fear, because I just think I would look so awkward, I wouldn't know what to do, I'd feel very uncomfortable. So I suppose for people that are listening and are thinking the same wavelength as I am, but want to incorporate more somatic work into their life to help them feel more fulfilled, more free, more, whatever it might be, excited, connected, what would you recommend or advise in terms of being able to incorporate some of that at a very beginner level?
Yeah. Oh gosh, I so relate to this, and I have so many women who have been in your shoes, who are in your shoes, who feel that. And just a recent scenario, I had a woman who, even before the class, she was getting a bit emotional, saying that she can't even dance at weddings because she's so conscious. But she was here at one of my ecstatic dance events, and I open up the circle, and it's all about, I invite you to close off your eyes and really travel within your own body. And get curious about the way your body might move to different beats, to different sounds, and how your body wants to move in that moment, even if it is stillness or you want to lie on the floor, it's all okay. And at first she said that she was opening her eyes and like peeping a bit, and then when she realized everyone was just in their own zone, and she just completely closed her eyes for the whole journey. And I do like to open my eyes and close it. Obviously I'm holding the space, but her words after it, she was just so elated that she was given this freedom to move without any judgment, without without herself feeling like anybody is watching her, or seeing if she is good or bad. There is none of that. All is welcome. And sometimes when I've been to some ecstatic dances, you can see that there's how with every walk of life you get some that really want to rub against the grain, and they don't want to fit into society. And so you'll find different dancers doing the most unusual kind of movements, almost as they're like, I'm not going to dance to the beat of this, and I'm going to really explore that. Whereas I do love just allowing my body to move and not getting in my head, and really dropping into that space. And if I was you or anybody else who is new to this, and so first of all, just put on some music and dance in your room, maybe headphones in so you can feel it really loud, and just allow your body to move without any judgment from yourself, just accepting it all. Be almost like you're playing with your inner child. Get curious about, what about if I move my hips in that way? What about if I just move my finger? What about my head, the connection between my head and my tailbone, really working through the spine? I'm dancing now as I'm explaining it.
I know, I'm moving as
well. But yeah, just like, the kind of clubbing dance with your hands in the air and just jumping around and getting crazy. And because it starts with you. Are you judging yourself? So when we can step over that hurdle and let that go, it's mind over matter as well, isn't it? Just be like, I have to be courageous in this moment. I'm going to that dance class. I'm going to feel uncomfortable, and that is okay. It's okay for you to feel uncomfortable, because it's when you move through that uncomfortable feeling that you can really feel the freedom, isn't it? With everything in life, it's the case that if you stay in your comfort zone, you're never going to know what is on the other side of that.
I totally agree. Yeah. It as you just said, it's sort of mind over matter, and it's with everything. It's like the first time you do an Instagram live, it's the first time you post on LinkedIn, it's the first time that you share your new increased prices with a client. It's like, you can do it, no one's judging, and actually it's only ourselves that we sabotage that progress. And as you say, if you are comfortable, if you're doing the same things day in, day out, which is something I talk about a lot, then we're going to get the same results. And I suppose with this specific example, which maybe feels a bit more, I don't want to say niche, but maybe there'll be a certain group of people that would do this and want to explore it. It's actually understanding the why behind why you want to do it. So maybe it is to experience more freedom. Maybe it is to build up a stronger relationship with yourself. Maybe it's to get out of the head and into the body more, which is so powerful. So yeah, I mean, I love dancing. I love live music. I love going to concerts and all the rest of it. So I feel like I've got the pieces of the jigsaw. I just need to put like the final piece in and book myself into a class. I was laughing the other day because I was speaking to another lady actually on the podcast who's based out in Bali. And for some reason, we ended up talking about ecstatic dance. And she said, if you've never done it before, I wouldn't recommend doing your first one in Bali, because that's like extreme ecstatic dance where everyone is just super comfortable and confident with the whole concept. So maybe start somewhere that
I think that's what I was trying to get at when I was speaking before, because I went to my first, I've obviously done ecstatic dance at uni and things, but my first official going to someone else outside of my area ecstatic dance. And, if I wasn't on my journey, or if that was my first experience, just being totally honest here, I'd be like, these are all weird. So
Yeah.
dancing really weirdly, and it's freaking me out, and I don't get it, and what are they doing? But because I was stepping into that, I can embrace that. But with my ecstatic dance, I always feel like I'm the bridge of, I can work with those kind of groups of people where it's like they just don't care, they're just so free, and they don't mind being different or looking different. And also our normal everyday people who are in society, grown up in, our systems and everything, and they're just used to dancing at weddings or back in the day when they used to go into town, that kind of thing. So I do like to bridge that gap where it's not totally out there.
Yeah.
And I can do that. And I do that more in my immersive retreats once we've built up a bit of, confidence and let go of all of the inhibitions and things. But my hourly classes and things, if you were to come to an in-person one, I'd ease you into that. So it's slightly guided at the start, and then it moves into this free expression where, you do start to feel more free and liberated. And especially my goddess raves, I use a lot of pop music, R&B music, music that so it's got that familiarity. Whereas with ecstatic dance, generally the thing is that you generally use world music and you don't use pop music.
Yeah.
So I kind of break out of all of that and do my own thing. And I think, well, I miss dancing to some of that music, like Beyonce and all of that kind of thing. So I've created these nights where women can get dressed up. We can dance together, have fun. We have cacao instead of drinking alcohol. So there's no, hangover the next day. And you just feel pure high vibes. And it's amazing. And honestly, it fills my heart so much. It's the best way to start the weekend.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds so good. And I can totally see how there is such a community feel as well of the women that come to these. There's that like-minded, similar interest, open heart, desire to support one another. And I guess sort of moving on to like the EFT tapping that you do as well. And from what I understand of it, I'm a massive tapping fan. I do it every morning. I'm not certified, but I have good understanding of what it is for and why we do it. And I suppose with the women that come to you, so I'm kind of thinking bigger picture, people that are listening, female entrepreneurs who have their own business, who are using tools like breathwork, tapping, ecstatic dance, meditation to help them become more successful in their business. Is there a simple explanation or answer, I suppose, as to why doing these sorts of practices does help us grow the success of our business? Because obviously mindset is a fundamental part in our success. But just in case people are thinking, I don't know whether I'd actually benefit from having tapping as part of my routine, or I'm not really sure that ecstatic dance is for me. What are those broader benefits that we see from a business perspective?
Yeah, so for me, when I don't do these practices, I can slip into old habits, slip into old ways of thinking, and let that get the best of me and hold me back. So, for example, I have a course that I've been running for years, and it's always been really successful. The women who have been on it have had these really deep transformations, and then stepping into similar work to me and you. And when I'm just saying an example that has happened, this year when I came back from maternity leave, I wanted to run it again, but this fear started creeping in that what if no one signs up? What if I put it out there and only one person signs up? What that would be embarrassing, and attaching all these stories to it. And it actually held me back so much that I didn't put it live at all, and I normally run this 3 times a year. And then once I started to drop back into doing the work that I do, obviously I went through a phase of, having 3 kids, and my youngest would be up at 5 o'clock in the morning sometimes, and the older 2 boys would be going to sleep. Sometimes by the time I'm walking out the rooms, it's 8:30, getting to 9 when I'm like tidying up and getting myself ready for bed. And then there just felt like no time for me. And then it was it was becoming apparent in these other things where I know I have so much to offer and give, but I was holding myself back because I had these limited mindsets, and I know what is happening. I'm like, I can see it. Stop breathing and feeding the fear and do the work, Sally. Get back into doing your meditation practice, get back into doing your EFT, and really feeding your soul, doing the things that bring you joy, like walking, dancing, these things, And as soon as I start doing that and giving myself, and the other thing I just wanted to mention with that, I work 2 days a week. The other days I've got my youngest and I'm at yoga studios teaching, because I'm a yoga teacher as well. So I've got 2 days to focus on my work, and one of those days is within school hours.
Yeah.
So if I haven't got up early or managed to do any meditation, by the time I've now got this whole day for myself to do my work, it kind of felt at first, you can't do that because that's a luxury, being able to meditate, journal, do all those practices. You need to crack on and do the work. I started shifting my mindset on that if I work more productively once I've given myself that time. Even if I spend 2 hours from 9:30 till 11:30, I'm going to spend half of my day doing these practices that fill my soul, even if technically in my mind it's like I've not done any work, I'm so much more productive. My energy is a higher vibration. And then you're attracting in the things that is of that energy, So when you're not giving that time to yourself, your energy, your vibration is lowering, you're feeding and thinking into these fear mindsets or the limited mindsets, and you're not being the highest version of you. You're not living in your fullest potential. And so that's from me, from a business perspective. They keep me to the highest version of me. And also with women, we have hormones, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you notice your thought process at different times of the month is different when you may be ovulating to, the different stages in our cycle. I really notice it. Yeah. Do you as well?
Yeah. I do, but I don't track it monthly, but I'll kind of try to connect it of like, oh, why am I feeling this way? Or actually maybe it is to do with X, Y, and Z. So I need to get better at it. It's my intention moving forward. But it's funny you say that, because I was having a conversation with someone about that last week, I think it was, and we were talking exactly about how our hormones do play such a role that's not spoken about that much in sort of business.
Yeah, I'm going to start doing the seed cycling, actually, where you have two, you can just research it, and there's 2 different seeds that you take on, when you're on the path to ovulating, and then after you've ovulated, you take 2 different types of seeds.
Right.
So I'm going to do that to help with my hormones and things, but I do really notice it, like after, on the run up to my period, I feel really insecure. I start comparing myself more to others and things. And that's really when I need to root down in my practice. And this isn't to say like every day you need to be spending an hour doing this. Find it in the little moments. So for me, when I'm doing the laundry, making it a mindful practice, or listening to a podcast that really infuses that kind of energy that I want to be in my body, uplifting podcasts like this one, and or audible books and that kind of thing, and just having moments where you can look out the window. If you're having a coffee, drink it mindfully, really taking in a moment for yourself to get clear, be present in this moment. And because when I don't do any of this, I get caught up in the rat race, and it's not connected to my heart, it's connected to my head, and it's a different journey. So it's pivotal for me to keep coming back to this why, this heart intention within me, the passion, and bring that into my life, so then I can teach from that space.
I think that's so beautifully said, because it is exactly that. It's, if we want to create the best success and the biggest results in our business, then we have to feel at our best. If we're showing up from a 50% full cup, then how can we expect to create the most magnetic, standout work? It doesn't work. So as you say, it's like that commitment, and it's having the consistency with it, so that those foundations that you're working off are strong, are stable, are firm, versus turning to them when you are feeling demotivated or when you are feeling unconfident. It's like actually just having that trust. And as you say, it's not sitting down for an hour and a half at the beginning of the day. It's doing the little things. Like, I remember when I was living in Cape Town, I was doing F45, which is like a sort of functional fitness class that I love doing. And it was about a 6 or 7 minute drive. And every morning, so it was really during a time where I was focusing a lot more on my energy and incorporating my energy as like a core part of the strategy in my business, alongside the mindset work and the kind of more on paper strategies, as it were. And I'd listened to this affirmation track that was like a 2-hour affirmation track with all these incredible positive affirmations. And every single morning for that 7-minute drive, that's what I would listen to. And it's just getting in, as you say, it's infusing that frequency and energy that you want to then radiate out into your own business and life, so that you're attracting in similar people, opportunities, results that match that. So
yeah, totally. Yeah, I'm with you on that. And we deserve to have joy infused in our life every day, don't we?
Yeah.
And yeah, it is that energy. And manifestation isn't the thing of constantly think about what you want, constantly think about it, and then it'll come to you. It's, set your intentions and open yourself to the universe, to God, whoever you connect with. If this is for my highest good and the highest version of me in my life, this is my intention right now, this or something better. And release that to the universe, and then focus on bringing joy, bringing peace, because stress as well is the number one, that takes us out of that vibration. So anything that is stressing you out and you have to do this and all of that, once you've cracked that energy where you're that low vibration, and, it's not all about being high vibe. So this is something with EFT, like you said, affirmations are amazing. They're really, really powerful. But if underneath all of that, you really don't believe what you're speaking out, it's not going to happen. It's not going to work, because underneath that, your energy is really saying, okay, I'm really, really abundant, but right now my bank account is nearly empty. Yeah. And so this is the beauty with EFT, and why it's so powerful, is that we have to get real with ourselves. You have to come into full acceptance of how you are feeling, how you are thinking right now, and bring your love, your care, your deep acceptance to that. And once you've taken the energy out of that and you've given that emotion validation, it's been seen and felt and heard, that's when it has the space to turn into something different, something more connected to your higher self that you are ready to bring into your life and embody. And we felt that in the session I did with you. Like, I could see it in the women. They went from a certain place of feeling different fear and comparison and not enoughness to, I am ready for this. I am doing this. This is what I'm here for, and I am open to receive it all.
Yeah, I think I'd highly recommend anyone that's listening that's not familiar with EFT tapping to be open-minded with it, give it a go. There's so many videos on YouTube. Sally, I'm sure you've got resources that are available for people that want to have a guided EFT tapping.
Yeah, I've got a YouTube as well that I'm starting to do EFT videos on. And so I've got videos on there already that describe the whole technique and why you do it. So you can find me on there. And also in the new year, I've got lots more EFT things coming your way. And also, just all for the heart and mind, body and soul and all of that.
Thank you so much. Well, I feel like this is a very appropriate place to kind of close off this conversation. Otherwise I feel like I've got so many questions, but I'll refrain. Maybe I'll have you back on in the new year. But I've loved exploring what freedom looks like on a more sort of holistic level of connecting with your body, getting out of your head, opening up to freedom on a more, what feels like a really expansive level, by raising your vibration, by letting go of those limiting beliefs, by like really elevating that self-belief and self-confidence by turning inwards. And that's something that I think we can forget so easily. I know I'm guilty of it as well, is looking externally for the answer, looking what other people doing for the, you know, strategies, the steps, the process to success. And actually it really does stem from this internal feeling of our own connection with ourselves, our own definition of success, and making that like a commitment and a consistent practice so that you can keep on growing and evolving and reaching new heights in all areas of your life. So thank you for your time, for your explanation, for your expertise. Please share with us where's best to find you, anything that you've got coming up that you want to mention, and I'll leave all the details in the show notes as well.
Thank you. Yes, so you can find me at Sally Fazeli, and that's F for Freddie, Azeli. And yeah, I've got some things, new offerings launching in the new year, which is really exciting. We've got some movement, EFT tapping, short workshops to really help you start your day off in the best way, but also you can do it at any moment that you like. I've got my Shoe Rises courses starting as well, going to launch that. And then, I've got, if you follow me or you catch up with me on there, YouTube, you can see what's coming next. There's always lots of new things.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much again, Sally. It's been such a joy. And I know everyone listening will have taken so much from it. So thank you. Have a good rest of your day. And I will speak to you very soon.
Thank you for having me.
Bye.